Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful Redding, California. And that's for those online, so they know where they're at. But anyway, we're going to start with a wonderful song by Dalton to open up the day.
Good morning. Now let me hear you say that again. Good morning. Who is ready to choose heaven with me today? Who's ready to choose joy with me today? Let me hear you. Yeah. Oh, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Yeah, I'm choosing heaven today. Oh, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of compassion right now, singing I choose compassion today. I'm choosing joy today. Oh, I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. Oh, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Yes, I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Thank you, Dalton. Before we have the children come up, we're going to invite our candle by Mary, and that's to invite in consciousness the new minister that's going to be showing up here sometime this year. So we ask you all to join in that. We have a community prayer that's in the back that you can join with us, and you'll be getting updates from the search committee as we go on. So I'd like to invite the children up as we prepare to go out for our Sunday services out there. I wasn't really going to kick him. So, my two grandchildren, I feel like I took on the role of a big brother. Like I always have to make things difficult. I stop them when they want to walk, and so they got to learn how to struggle and survive. Anyway. But anyway, thank you for being here. I'm Charlie Bourne, the practitioner today. Dr. Mary and I are available and Shirley, I believe, for prayer support after service. Whether you have good to share or you want to work on something that you would like us to help out with. So it's open to everyone. Also, I'd like to welcome any newcomers. If anybody's new, if you want to raise your hand, we'll give you a packet. We have a couple in the back, and I thought I saw another hand. But Doug and Ronnie, you can give out a packet. And then if you'd like to see our grounds, one of us will meet with you afterwards and take you around our beautiful grounds. Just let us know. So I'd like to thank everybody in service, those who came early. We have Lindy in the sound booth. We have Linda on the board desk. Doug and Ronnie, they're ushers and greeters. And Lori comes early to open the doors as well and be available in the office till noon. So we have a few announcements. Actually, we have a lot of announcements today. And so what I'd like to do is just point you to the handout. If you didn't get one, you can pick one up on the back. But it has all the details of all the announcements. And what's nice is that you can go online now and sign up for a class. You can pay for a class, an event. So it's very easy to do it that way, as well as you can do it in person here. So I'm going to just do some highlights of announcements, but I have a few special announcements that are going to be provided by Cher and by Dr. Mary. So we're going to start with Cher with her announcement.
I'm going to bring Gary up. I didn't tell him about that. We want to invite you, we do the third Saturday of the month, a group called SOAR, and SOAR is Spirit of Adventure Renewed, or Spirit of Adventure Reading, because we're dedicated to exploring the 75-mile radius around Reading. And Gary is the master of adventure. And so we have our planning meeting today right here in the sanctuary. You'll have time to get coffee, come back at 11:30, and you'll see all the adventures of 2022 and what's to come. And so it's an exciting time. I'll tell you, do you want to say what's happening? Okay. So our first adventure of this year is next Saturday on the 15th. So again, the third Saturday of the month. And Gary will give the detail at 11:30. So we hope to see you then. Thanks.
Good morning. I have a couple of things. After the service, about 11:15, I'll be in the meeting room in the office. And if you are interested in taking this class, it's just a short class, half hour, 45 minutes, on the essence of religious science, the essence of what we teach. And so that, if you don't know much about it, I'd be glad to have you come and learn more about it, because it's a fascinating life philosophy. The other meeting, we're alternating them, it'll be in a month or so, is all about the center, who we are, what we do, who's the parent organization, how does this whole thing work. So today is the essence, and then the other is if you're interested in membership, potential membership meeting. So hope to see you then. The other thing is starting this week on Tuesday is the certificated class, The Power of Decision. The book is written by Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. It's a hard-hitting book, and it's about helping you move forward and make decisions in the four key areas of life, in your health, prosperity, work, and creativity. And Barker is he's so right to the point. I have a whole two-page list of Barkerisms, and he's just that kind of guy. So if you want a little stimulation to make some decisions this year, come and join me. There's 2 people signed up so far. Love to have 6 people if possible, but we'll see. Anyway, if you're interested in hitting the new year like Barker, come and join us.
Okay, I'm done. No, actually, I'm just going to read the titles for a few more, just so you can make sure you go look at it. So Hatha Yoga starts back up again this week on Mondays and Wednesdays with Reverend Sue, and with a new yoga teacher who's going to be here on Mondays, Tamlin Greenberg. So that'll be from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. And then tomorrow night, men's group and Sacred Sisters meet here in the center. And I think, Roy, are you still doing it online as well? Yeah, so it's a combination online, and you can talk to Roy about that as well. And he's here. Let's see, we talked about power of decision. So we have the Tao of watercolor, adding some simple figures to atmospheric landscapes with Sherry Ann Wyndham. That's starting January 12th. We have All About Meditation, Spiritual Practices with Reverend Sue starting January 12th. And then Spiritual Music Jam, which has become one of my favorites. It's this Friday night at 7 p.m. to 8:30. And we've had an increasing level of turnout, and it's been really wonderful. So you can bring any instrument you want. You can bring your voice or any instrument you want, and we have a nice, safe circle, and we just kind of bang away. But it's beautiful, beautiful, and very soul uplifting. And I think Steve is here, so you can talk to him as well. He kind of leads that circle. I guess I wanted to embellish on that one. So we have our music jam, the reality retreat meditation with Nitya Ram. That's starting on Thursday, January 20th in the pavilion. You can read about that. It's going to be in the mornings. And then another Paint and Pour Your Art Out. It's a workshop with Ava Malinsky. It's going to be starting January 22nd. And then I did ask Sue if she would talk about this one real quick. It's called Foundations of Healing with Christine Stewart.
Oh, good morning. I forgot I was going to do that. Foundations of Healing Touch course. Many of you have heard of the healing practitioners that do healing touch. And we have our Christine Stewart is a friend and member here that is a well-trained nurse up at Mercy, but she is going to be teaching the Foundational Healing Touch course, and it's open to anyone, but if you're in any kind of a healing art, it's a wonderful platform to add to your healing modalities. And there's information on the signups out there that really explains what this is. And even if you think that you might not ever be a healing touch practitioner, just learning the Foundational Level 1 series is really beneficial to your experience. You'll learn how to take care of one another in a very gentle, beautiful way. And I just want to highlight that because it starts in February, 2 Saturdays, February 5th and 12th, and it's a full day workshops. You learn a lot, but you're in the presence of a powerful woman, Christine Stewart. So thank you for listening to that.
Okay, that concludes our announcements. So at this point, I'm going to ask Craig to come up and do the reading. And then also, after that, we're going to invite the bell. Then I'll do a spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer. And during that, just kind of take in the essence of these flowers in front. They were here yesterday for a beautiful memorial. We had this room pretty full from people around Reading for a very beloved member. And Sue may speak to that a little bit, when she comes up. But this room was filled with love yesterday, and it was very, very touching. And so I feel that in this room right now. So these flowers represent that.
These are the words of Peter Mayer. And Sue made me aware of Peter Mayer because I hadn't heard of him. When I was a boy, each week on Sunday, we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today, the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water into wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track because everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk in it with reverent air, because everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, and I say it's not a testament, and say it's not a testament? That would be very hard to say. See another new morning come, and I say it's not a sacrament? No, I tell you, that can't be done. This morning, outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird, shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But now I walk with reverent air, because everything is holy now.
Please join with me in this holy moment as we recognize and feel and know that the presence of God, of the one of Spirit, is everywhere present. Present in this room, represented by the beauty of the flowers, the warmth of everyone's heart, the consciousness that I know runs deep with Spirit in everyone here. So I know that God and Spirit flows through each and every one of us here, and that we are the perfection of the manifestation of the One, expressing itself always. And so in recognizing this and allowing myself to go deeper and deeper and deeper into my soul, I recognize there is a pure light, a light of truth and a light of beauty and a light of love. And that opens the door for me to have wonderment about life, and an urge and a nudge to know more and to grow and be all that I can be. So today, I open myself up to the words and the wisdom of Reverend Sue as she shares her heart, as she shares her love for this center, as she shares her knowledge, which is downloaded through Spirit, through her, and out to us. So I give thanks for today and for today's message, for this congregation and this center, where we have an opportunity to come together and be in community and to have love be expressed fully. So I let go and release these words and this prayer into law, knowing full well it is absolutely so, right here and right now. And together we say, and so it is. So Reverend Sue, on the topic of wonder everywhere.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm just called to put this little picture in front. This is Joanne Carter, who did the ceremony for yesterday, but it's a beautiful picture of her and dogs on their hike. So that picture, I dedicate this service to her. She was a person that knew the wonder that was everywhere. And she found it, like many of you do. Many of you have shared with me, I don't know so much about God, but I do know about nature. I do know about the beautiful mountains, the ocean, the lakes, the rivers, the trees. That's my sanctuary. And so that was where my friend Joanne found her spirituality, and she joined us here many times in a very quiet, humble way, sitting just right over here at the 9 o'clock services, and my boss for many years. So it was a service filled with love yesterday, and that love continues to flow, and these flowers are a gift to all of you in those moments, where whatever you wonder about today. Mary launched this topic, and I thought a beautiful way last week, because the whole series this year is going to be talking about living everyday wonder. So you'll be hearing a lot about this word and this idea. So today's topic, wonder, wonder everywhere. There is a quote from an Angela Morgan, and she says, "Oh, to be alive in such an age when miracles are everywhere and every inch of common air throbs a tremendous prophecy of greater marvels yet to be." So imagine yourself the key character in Alice in Wonderland. Can you take yourself there? You know, it could be any one of you. It could be Dalton in Wonderland, Judy in Wonderland. It could be any one of you, because we live in a wonderland. We're just invited to simply marvel at what we experience every day and witness where love rises up and makes itself manifest in those moments. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Love will rise up. It's how you choose to see it, where you choose to place your heart. Because I want to remind you of the key principles of the science of mind teaching. We see a world in which every person, each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principles, emphasizing the unity with God and a connection with each other, a world in which individually, collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. They'll go on to say we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family. That's a big one global family. One, it's not one big dysfunctional global family, which it seems like lately, but it's bringing that all together, almost imagining it at a Thanksgiving feast. Respect and honoring the interconnectedness of all of life, of all of us, a world where this kinship with all its life prospers and connects through the guidance of a spiritual wisdom and experience. So there's guidance that's necessary in order for us to get along. We envision this world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, on nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. Now that's a global statement from CSL, from the Center for Spiritual Living overall organization, and it's principles that we choose to align with. And I want to ask us to, as we orient to the idea of wonder, we are invited to impress upon ourselves, noticing that there is a divinity in everything, and it's everywhere. This week when I was teaching the Essential Earnest Holmes class, we came across this moment of conversation where I was reminded of Catherine Ponder. She's written a lot of works in the early days of New Thought, back in the probably the 1940s, 50s, in that area there. But she said, one of her books on prosperity said, there's gold dust in the air. And I love that. There's gold dust in the air. Do you want to grasp that, to harvest that, to bring that in? There's gold dust in the air, and we each ought to have that. So this idea that we don't have to take a drug or smoke some dope or anything to kind of feel wonder everywhere, to have it take on a new ethereal essence about it. It already is. We already are in that state of consciousness. We just need to wake up that there is a wonderment and a presence in every single thing. There's a sparkle of this divinity, of this divine light that is penetrating absolutely everything. Now, Earnest Holmes, founder of the teaching, says, we stand in awe. We stand in awe before the grandeur of a mountain or the vastness of the ocean. Something deep within us responds. Something within us embraces the ocean, right? Don't you feel that way? Something in you embraces the ocean when you see it. You don't even want to leave. It's doing something to us. The currents of the water, the way it moves, we move with that. And it's something within us melts into the mountain. When we see the sun today and we see the glory of the mountain ranges all around us, sprinkled with that divine white snow, we are pulled to that. So he said something of us melts into the mountain and we become one with it all. We do. It's quick. It's a quickened moment. It's a moment probably that lasts as long as a breath taken in and out, but it's there. And the message today is to remind you, and David Brooks emphasizes, to feel the wonder in the face of beauty is to be grandly astonished. A person entranced by wonder is pulled out of the normal voice in your head, self-absorption, and finds oneself awed by something greater, something greater. There's a feeling of radical openness, curiosity, and reverence. There's an instant freshness of perception, a desire to approach it and to affiliate with it. I know we have that. Those are the days that we just go to sleep at night and say, this was a day well lived. And we settle into our dreams and we feel the wonderment of it all. So as we move along in life, we can end up rather unaware. And then when we start to live in that more narrow space, that's when we start to just live on automatic. We get lost in the ordinariness of our life experiences. We're no longer like that childlike enthusiasm of seeing the awe of a summer day. Remember that? You're out of school and the next day it's summer. The next day you've got all this potentiality before you and you can't wait to go build a fort, ride your bike forever around the cul-de-sac. But it's like it's life opens up because you're out of the ordinary routine of racing to catch the bus. So this idea of never allowing ourselves to miss all these sweet details that help us feel alive, the sense of wonder about things, and COVID has shut down a little bit of that. I'm alive. I think I'm safe here, right? We keep walking around with a little bit of a spook. Now there's another variant, and we're like, I want to live in the wonderment. And we can do that even with the mask on. The sense of wonder about everything is, are we willing to allow ourselves to be responsible and fulfill these deep obligations of love, not on a rote sense of just behaving a certain way, but we want to get back into the awe of living, get out of our heads. Are you finding yourself trapped in a to-do list and marking off everything simply to manage every day? Is every day just a task? Does every day have something that you just feel like you're being dragged towards it? Or are you being pulled with a sense of awe towards it? Because you are choosing now, it's still the opportunity to begin each day saying, I choose to live each day in wonder. Now, there's a couple of books, and I referenced them. They're back by Linda on that screen. They're just posted there on a couple of the references I'm using. A book this month that we're paying attention to is What's in the Way is the Way by Mary O'Malley. And another one is Ordinary Wonder, Zen Life and Practice by Charlotte Yoko Beck. But this idea, she said, we are strengthening the muscle of your attention, inviting you to be curious even about your breath, to be curious about your storyteller. Be curious again about your body. It's time to bring your awakening curiosity into what is happening as you move through every day. This is where it all gets very, very interesting. Rather than life being a random series of events that are happening, either because you are doing it right or you're doing it wrong. Now I want to pause right there because this is a key principle, a key misunderstanding that I see in this philosophy. Because we say a lot from the platform, and it's said a lot in classes, done unto you as you believe. It's said in the Bible, it's done unto you as you believe. So what happens with that is people get on a guilt trip. Something uncomfortable happens and they think they did something wrong, right? What's wrong with my stinking thinking? And sometimes it just is. Sometimes things are hard, things are sad. Things break our heart. You didn't do anything wrong. And before I go on with this passage, I want to add what Charlotte says in this, because I also hear a lot of this, and this is very tender to me. People sometimes tell me, my life doesn't matter. That will take me down when people say that. Yes, your life matters. Yes, it does. Or they'll say, I don't see any point in living. Very depressed way of looking at life. These belief points, she goes on to say, point to an important part of practice, to be able to connect with all of life. Be there for yourself and for others. Do you get that? Yeah? Oh, we can do so much for one another, and that's so uplifting. But when we do that same good, when we dig deep into our heart and we do it for our own self, we prosper. That's the major thing to do, she said. Your life matters totally. It matters aside from specific accomplishments. Those are all fine. The most important thing to practice is the development to be a more genuine person with all the complexity that each one of us is. And that's good. We are complex. That's good. People all don't understand you. That's okay. We don't understand other people. That's okay. And a stable, powerful base emerges because then you're connecting with life itself. So let me go back to finishing what she's saying. Everything gets really interesting here. Rather than life being the random series of events that are happening either because you are doing it right or doing it wrong, you begin to trust that life is putting you in the exact situation that are needed, the exact situations that are needed to bring up the spells that make up your clouds. Your clouds are that part of the thinking that gets muddled. That are the clouds begin to bring a fog over divinity. And those are those moments where you're caught in a spell. So let me read that, just that little bit. The situations that are needed to bring up the spells that make up your clouds. This way you can see them in operation. You can see what's happening. And that powerful moment of just noticing them, they lose their power over you. Oh, that's why I'm behaving this way. Oh, they triggered me. Oh, I don't believe the way they do, and it's upsetting me. I'm constricted. Oh, but we face it. We face the self square on. So she said, I'm going to end her quote here. I like to say it this way: life is set up to bring up what has been bound up so it can open up to be freed up so you can show up for life. Isn't that clever? Mary O'Malley. So let me go back to some things that I wanted to share in this, because we are moving along in sometimes that constricted space of limitations, and we're not able to open ourselves up into the wonder. And something will literally have to stun us sometimes to wake us up. And we need to ask ourselves to have the opportunities to release the mundane life that we've just become robotically living, and begin to create space that requires us to let go of agendas and routines. Now that's kind of scary, because you might feel like I'll never get anything done. Aha, but you're living. But you're living. To a certain degree, you can allow all this just by simply noticing what's going on. So we allow this space for our heads and our hearts to open. There was a blog by an Amy Nolan that writes A Life by Design, and she says, by being open, I mean opening ourselves to our environment, our inner thoughts, being mindful in the moment while also being on the lookout for something special. So there's that added piece there. Be open and look for something special. She quoted E.B. White, we must always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. This invitation encourages us to create this space in our mind and in our hearts so we can be open to all perspectives. That's another big key. I can brushstroke that very quickly, but I invite you to really, really look at the limitations of your perspectives. And they all might be very beautiful and very wholesome, very spiritual, but also they might block your heart when somebody else isn't meeting the expectation of your perspective. So, and this kind of idea projects itself in so many ways. So last week, let me give you just a small example. I was doing a wedding for a couple, real sweet couple, that wanted a very small ceremony, just 20 friends, I believe, family, friends. Norma was there. So they chose the pavilion. We walked out there and they said, this is perfect. It's a perfect place. And, I felt kind of proud. But then they said they wanted a clean slate in the pavilion. We don't want any of this artifact. Artifact? These are spiritual treasures. And I thought, these are the things that we have acquired for years out there. People that have so genuinely placed little crystals on the altar. And she goes, we'll just tear all this down. And I was like, tear it all down. And I was just like, I started getting very possessive. But with a smile like, hey, they like it. And then, so I said, I got an idea. I know this is, I'm having a little pride here with this space, so I'm going to volunteer Charlie. Charlie and I to take this down for you. And so, because I just wanted to take care of all those cool things. And I was feeling a little bit of the arrogance that was crowding my heart here a little bit. So we volunteered to take it all down, and Charlie and I very carefully took the different pieces down. We took the sacred pictures of Jesus, of Buddha, of Thich Nhat Hanh, of Guru Mai, of Yogananda, and different spiritual teachers that have influenced a lot of us in our meditation practices. And I carefully put them in a really big, sturdy, like a freezer bag, like nothing's going to happen to these. They were cushioned and cared for and heavy. And I took all of these beautiful statues and placed them carefully and took down flags, took down pictures. And everything then was an empty space. And you know what? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It struck me so as I stood back and I thought, okay, I hope they like this, because it felt empty to me. It's interesting how the vibrations of such spiritual thoughtfulness of so many can fill a space, can hold that space. But it didn't go anywhere. It was still sacred space. So I had a new perspective. There was the bare, naked walls. Everything was empty now. Everything was empty now, and there was potentiality. So I was curious in that empty and quiet space how they would fill it with the samples, pieces of their love the next day. And I wondered about that, and walking in, they just placed a single flower vase here and there and set the chairs in a very respectful way and kept the altar, there's a table that's the altar, kept that empty except for their vows that they wrote lovingly to each other. It was beautiful, and it was special. And then I got to put it all back together. I got to put it all back together with a different form of respect, because they kept saying, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Oh, no. I'm happy to do this by myself." And it was just a pleasure. Now, here's another thing about perspective. So the next day, Nitya Ram was supposed to be doing her meditations with us, but she was still in India. That's why it's been postponed. But I showed up to do Om Namah Shivaya with anybody that came. But as I go back there, I'm walking and I see to my side, I'm thinking, oh, that wood looks familiar, like one of our tables busted up. To my left was the missing table. In its place was a stack of probably, what would you say, Kelly was with me, Norma was there, probably 50 cans of beer, a couple whiskey bottles, stacked neatly. But I look to my right, there's the blasted table, there's the stack of old booze. Somebody had a great party. And it triggered in me a constriction. But then we did our meditation, Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to the self, I bow to this love, I bow deeply. And what rose was forgiveness, was an opportunity to look at this too. Look at this too. This is not good at first. But then I went back out there and I thought, thank God. Thank God they stacked it all. We didn't have to go into the bushes, bend over, pick up a bunch of pieces of this. There it was, all stacked nice and neat. One bag, tossed away. They can find it again to recycle. But those are those moments, perspective. And how quickly we can allow the cloud to disperse. So I invite you to kind of contemplate whatever special is to you. And that's going to be very personal. But what lingers in you when awe stirs in you? What gets your attention and what do you appreciate? And can you be there with it just a little bit longer? So there's another thing that Amy said, that wonder can add value to your life in many ways. Once you know what captivates you, you can seek it out or let it find you. That's what wonder's all about, letting it come over you in a way without judging, being full in the moment to let it give you the gift that it has. Let it stop you in your tracks. And I can remember going to Hawaii with my friend Shannon Moore many years ago. And we were doing this walk to the bamboo forest and walking, hiking, hot. And then all of a sudden you hear this distant clickety, 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 click. And the sound was like calling us. And we were going around these bends, and then there, against the most bluest sky, were these huge bamboo forests, clickety, clickety against each other. And I fell to my knees. I literally fell to my knees, because I was so moved by the music of it all, the awe of it all. Wonder was everywhere. So Rumi says, the wonder of water. moving over a rock in the stream justifies existence. The swish of a horse's tail. I am stunned by the grandeur of the unseen one that governs all movement. Have you ever gotten breathless before a beautiful face? For I see you there, my dear. There's a wonderful problem waiting for you. How to keep from fainting when we see each other. Yeah, have we gotten so used to seeing one another that we forget to faint? There's a lot to say on this, and I think I probably will share some of the ideas of Valerie Carr for another time, because she writes in a book called See No Stranger that wonder is the wellspring of love. And it really is when we allow ourselves to drop to that place. She writes this, when we orient ourselves to wonder, then it becomes possible to wonder not only about ourselves and our world, but about other people and about their world. We begin to sense that they are as vast and as complex as we are. When we choose to wonder about people we don't know, we expand our circle of those we see as part of us that we don't know yet. That's big. You will discover something about yourself that you don't know yet. It draws us closer and increases the empathy and compassion. Wonder is where love begins. And she says this in closing. And then I'm going to have Judy do a little bit of a background for an invitation to take you into this space. Love is more than a feeling. Love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving, a choice we are making over and over again. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. See No Stranger. It's a beautiful book. She's a Sikh woman, a lawyer actually, and she's created quite a powerful following. Valerie Kaur, Kaur, if you want to look her up on the web, because she is doing some really good work in our current times, and she's a powerful speaker. So as Judy starts to play, I invite you to kind of shift your position a little bit, to posture your body as if the divine just recognizes now that as you have moved your body into a seated position that is aligned, as if you are letting go of the clouds. Yes, you are. The moment you shift your seat and you allow your eyes to close and your heart to open and your mind to be still. Your body is still, the mind becomes still. And from recognizing it's all okay, imagine a day when everything was okay. Not just okay, but really okay. Imagine that day. Maybe you have just fallen in love or received something you've wanted for a long time. Maybe you're on vacation, no pressure, lying on a beach in deep contentment. Allow these images to float through you, to fill you. Go for the gusto. Let in that okayness. Let it flood your mind, your body, and your heart. It's okayness. And now notice what you're experiencing. You're using your imagination to open up to the joy of everything being okay. Can you imagine a world in which everything is okay? In your mind, there is probably a sense that nothing needs to be any different than it is. In your body, you have an experience of deep relaxation, a glow of joy. Your heart is open There's spaciousness, there's light, everything's okay. It is. What would it be like if you knew that always, always, everything was okay? Feel that tingle through you in the grace of this time together. Ah, the wonder, the wonder, the wonder. It's okay. It's all okay. And in this grandeur of acceptance of this truth, we open wide to one another. Perceptual fields fall away, and we float in and out, knowing each other, knowing ourselves at a level we have never scratched upon before. Wonder, wonder everywhere. For this, we turn to the divine and we hold up our arms in that gratitude of praise, and we feel that sense of it is all okay. It's all love. It's all waking me up to be the best that I can be, to continue to love and to serve and to stay humble in the eyes of all that I witness, to let go of how I want to see it and be with what is. Thank you, God, for the wisdom of those spiritual teachers that show us the way, of the spiritual stranger that pokes me the wrong way, so that I can turn to that person, eyes and heart wide open, and say, this too I love, for it will show me who I am. I release the power of this word, the testimony of these wise teachers, into my experience right here, right now. And with this gratitude, I move forward in my life as a powerful spiritual warrior. It's all good. It's all good. And I release this word in the power of testimony, that it is done unto us as we believe. And together we say powerfully, and so it is. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Perfect. Dalton.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
That was beautiful, Dalton. Thank you. That was one of the songs from yesterday. And to hear it again is so sweet. Thank you. You must have known. But so I'd like to invite the ushers forward. And so before the ushers go down, I'm going to read this. As I prepare to give, and take this in as you hear the words. As I prepare to give my offering to the center, I remember the overflowing power of divine life energy overcomes every obstacle and pours out into the world, blessing and prospering everyone and everything through me. I radiate blessings, I radiate creativity, I radiate prosperity, I radiate loving service. Through my vision, the world is blessed. I am grateful for the abundance that is on the way and for the abundance I currently have. I share my good with joy, and so it is.
Feel free to hold this with me. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. 'Cause everything is holy now, everything is holy now, everything is holy now, everything is holy now.
So I invite you to repeat after me this blessing. This day I recognize God and only God as my substance. My supply and my support. And so it is. And so on behalf of the center, I also give thanks for your openness in sharing your heart and your good, because in the law of circulation, we know this comes in and goes right back out, not only to you individually, but to our community and our community at large. And so I know through the board and through everyone involved in this center, we take special care of how we treat your good that you've given to us for the good of all. So thank you so much. So we have another closing song by Dalton, and then we'll come up and say goodbye.
And please, whether you're here or watching at home, feel free to stand on up if you're comfortable. Maybe establish some space around yourself. Stretch on out. It's a beautiful day outside. Feel this with me. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All God now, all God, holy, holy. All God, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is God, holy, holy. That means all is love now, all love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is love, holy, holy. All one now, all one, holy, holy. Remember all one, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is one, holy, holy. All God, one more time. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. I said all in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy.
So Jim, hold that camera, and everybody, we forgot to wave to people at home. So if you could scan us, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for sitting in the sound booth with Lindy. We appreciate that. And we love you at home. We are here having a full experience as well. So blessings, everyone. Dalton, your music was extraordinary as always. Always, we love you. And Judy, you're in tune with my heart, the way you help us lead us inward to that deep space.
And we have the social hall, so be sure and join out there.
And there's Lori waiting to sell you things in the bookstore. Awesome. Have a wonderful day, everyone.